Happy Monday, guys. I know some of you found Friday quite tricky with maths, but please do not worry. Okay, I will do a drop-in session at 11 o'clock today. So if anyone does need any help, you can just drop in, okay? But today is a lot more of the same as what you did on Friday. So hopefully we'll be able to iron out any creases this morning. And then if any of you do need to drop in at 11, then that's fine. I will be there to help you, and I will have a whiteboard and everything ready. And I'm getting better at writing backwards when I have you face to face on the screen. So today we are comparing and ordering fractions again, but this time we're looking at improper fractions. So we're looking at fractions that are more than one. And you've already looked at that and showed me how amazing you are at comparing mixed numbers and improper fractions. And you can change between the two. And you did some amazing work on that. So we are now using what we did on Friday without being scared by it. We're going to absolutely smash this today. And using your knowledge of improper fractions as well. So your first set of questions, your fluency questions, are going to look a little bit like this. And as I have said time and time again, if you are unsure, draw equal size diagrams. These aren't perfect. I apologise. But on your paper, doesn't matter if it's plain or lined, draw yourself out a bar. And make sure every bar you do after that is the same size. So that you do pick a size that's equally divided by 4, equally divided by 8 to help you. Okay? And that really will help you see the difference and see how we compare these. So, we are going to start by comparing these two fractions. 5 over 4 and 10 over 8. So we've got 5 quarters and 10 eighths. So we're going to start exactly how we started on Friday. We're going to shade in our diagrams. So, our quarters are at the top. So here are our 2 bars that have been split into 4. And here are our 2 bars that have been split into 8. If you'd like to draw this with me, pause it now. Draw 2 bars that have 4 equal each, and 2 bars that have 8. And you'll see that my 4s line up. So this line here, the centre line, goes right through the middle, and that makes it really easy to compare. So if you want to draw them and work along with me, then pause now, and then we'll carry on. So we're now going to shade in our bar diagrams. So our first one, we have 5 quarters. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 5 quarters. All 4 of that one plus 1 of this one. And now we have 10 eighths. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So when we compare this one, actually they're the same size. So this one would actually be in equals. And we can check that by using the knowledge that we had on Friday and using all that knowledge of equivalent fractions that we did at the very beginning. Is we want to know if we times this one by 2, remembering, as I said on Friday, I'm going to say this a lot over the next couple of weeks, whatever we do to the top, we do to the bottom. Whatever we do to the bottom, we do to the top. So, if we want to see this one over 8, we have to times that by 2. Make it the same denominator. Make it easier for us to compare. And then we do the same to the top. So 2 times 5 is 10. So we can see that they are equal. So we've coloured them in. This is why I say it's really important to do accurate diagrams. And our line is in exactly the same place. So those ones are equal. Now I don't know where my rubber's gone. So apologies for the bit of kitchen roll. Now we're going to compare 4 thirds and 11 sixths. So I'm going to draw my bars again. Oh, that was a really bad bar. And as I said, if you're doing this with me at home, feel free to pause the video and draw it with me. Make sure you've got the same time. So I'm going to carry on that line down there. So my thirds are exactly the same. And then because we're splitting it into 6, I'm going to split my thirds into 2. Because 3 times 2 makes 6. And that means my third lines are still visible and follow all the way down. But now these bars are 6. So we want this one to be 4 thirds and this one to be 11 sixths. So, as I said, pause at any time that you want to draw and help yourself do these diagrams. So, we're going to colour in our 4. So we've got 1, 2, 3, our 4 thirds. I've got 11 sixes. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We know there are 6 there because we know it is a whole because of the size of that number. So we've got 6 and we need 5 more because 6 plus 5 equals 11. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So just by looking at our diagrams, we can see this one, our 11 sixths, is greater than our 4 thirds. So we put our greater than symbol in between our open mouth to the biggest number, our small end to the smallest. So this is exactly what you're going to be doing today. And then that's your first question. Your second question is exactly the same as what you did on Friday. Now, as I said last week, you only need to spend 1 hour doing maths every day. I do not expect all of you to finish all of the slides. I put enough on there to challenge the whole range of abilities in our class. None of us are the same. Everyone finds certain things about fractions tricky, easy, quite challenging, quite simple and straightforward. We're not the same, guys. I don't expect you to blitz all the way through. I expect you to be honest with me and to give yourself an hour to do as much as you can. If you stop and you put a note on and say, I watched the video, I've done an hour, this is where I've got to, that's fine. I might say, if you have a second, have a look at a reasoning question. Don't have to answer it in full. I just need to make sure that we're starting to still exposing you to those reasoning type questions. I don't want you to overdo it, and I definitely don't want you to worry. So, we're going to look at a couple of comparing questions and a reasoning question, and then we're going to stop, and you're going to get on with your work. So, we're going to compare these ones. So we'll start with 13 over 8 and 19 over 16. Now you can draw your bar diagrams. Absolutely. Stop the video now. Draw yourself bar diagrams if that's how you want to do this. But I am going to show you the other way of comparing, and that is by making them both numbers have the same denominator. And most of the ones that you'll have will be easily be able to just be times by 2 to give this the same denominator, because then it's really clear to see without having to draw anything. Okay, so we're going to make our 8 a 16. Okay, so they have the same denominator. So to do that, we need to times this one by 2. And we need to do the same to our top one. So we're doing the same to the bottom and the top to make it over 16, just so it's easy to compare. So if we times our 8 by 2, we get 16. And if we times 13 by 2, we get 26. And if we then compare that to our 19 over 16, we can quite easily see that 26 is bigger than 19. And you can then draw your arrow in the middle, your greater than symbol. And that is it. I don't want you to make it really complicated. What we do is we're comparing. So in the same way as when we looked at equivalent fractions, just because you're timesing by 2, you're not actually changing the number. You're not changing the amount. Just like when we have a half and 2 quarters, The amount hasn't changed, just the number of pieces it has been split into. And that is all we're doing when we're matching them up. If we times this by 2 to get 2 over 4, the amount doesn't change, just how many pieces that it has been cut into. So we're going to look at one more, and then you can get on, and then let me know if you need any more help. We are going to compare 14 over 10 and 26 over 20. So again, we are going to make this one 20. So that means we need to times it by 2, and we have to do the same to the top and the bottom. Otherwise, we're changing the amount. Whereas what we're doing, we're not changing the amount, we're changing how many pieces it's been cut into. We're saying, okay, we're cutting this now into 20 pieces instead of 10. So that has to be the same amount as well. We're not changing how much of the pie we're getting. So to make this over 20, we need to do 14 times 2, which gives us 28. Which means that 28 is bigger, is greater than 26. Okay, so hopefully you can now start to see that actually, if we were cutting this into 20 pieces, this one was in 10 pieces, and we cut each of those pieces into 2, the amount hasn't changed, just how many pieces there are now in that. You know me, I always go back to pie or pizza or cake. So, reasoning. You might be asked, which one is more and why? So, this is going back to mixed numbers, but the principle is exactly the same. So both of these have a number 3, that's the same, we can forget about that. We're now just comparing the fractions. Now to compare the fractions, we go back to exactly what we have just done. We give ourselves a common denominator. And common denominators are going to help you when we move on to addition and subtraction in the next couple of weeks. Next week. So, or actually, maybe this week. So, let's give ourselves a common denominator. Now, it's easy to make our 3 into a 9. So, to do that, we have to times by 3. And that means we do the same to the top. So 3 1/3 is the same as 3 3/9. So now when we compare that to, I don't know, I think it might be Ron and Susie. Ron has more than Susie because he has 3 4/9, whereas Susie only has 3 3/9. So Ron will have more. And that's it. So there are the normal White Rose slides there if you need them, ones we would normally talk through in class. As I said, I'll be online at 11 for probably about half an hour to 40 minutes for drop-in sessions. I might keep it open longer, depending on how busy it is. So if you need any help or to run through any questions, please let me know. But as I said, do not stress yourselves. Take your time, get the fluency, get that method right. And then once you've got that, you'll be able to move on to the next part of fractions, no problem. So enjoy. Let me know if you need any help.